Many of us are operating in our birth life, our natural birth life, the life of our nativity, the condition that we were born in, the world that we are born into. Many of us are living and breathing simply only the artificial air, if you will, the life breath that comes with the world or the environment that we're born into. Many of us are literally infected with the social surroundings. The environment that we currently live in has greater influence on us than the things that come from God. And what Jesus is teaching his disciples and even those in the multitude that are listening in the background, don't get caught up in your life issues, your life desires, and overlook the importance of the life. Your life is only focused on what you're going to look at, what it says, what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink, and what you're going to wear. We discovered that your life, or the life that only centers around my personal needs, is largely identified by my personal management of what I want out of life. That's an important element when we consider how contrasting the distinction is between your life and the life that comes from God. Your life is centered and focused simply around what you believe you want, what you desire, or what you demand in life. And if we're not careful, we find ourselves chasing after our own personal desires, overlooking the necessity of seeing the value of the life that comes from God. So it comes down to this, making a decision between the life that you manage, the temporal things, or the life that God gives us, the life that God manages, the eternal things, the things that are lasting. We talked about that in the early development of our Life Point concept here in our ministry, that the eternal things have much greater value than the temporal things. But here, Jesus wants to make sure that we understand that we cannot allow your life to interfere with the life. It's really extraordinary that even for believers, we find ourselves struggling. Even though we know the truth, even though we have relationship with God, we find ourselves struggling with trying to identify the difference or what's important about my personal needs versus what God desires from me. And the Bible here, Jesus is teaching us that the life is much more important, has much greater value than the things that you and I are personally pursuing. What you're going to eat, what you're going to drink, what you're going to wear, what you're going to put on your physical body. We can be so consumed with that we don't recognize how important or how much we are missing the greater valuable goals of what God has given us in eternity. So I want us to just highlight this portion of this verse. Take no thought for your life. You see, the more occupied you are with your life, the more occupied you are with your personal desires, the less focus you can be on the life that comes from God. I'm telling you, this is important because it requires us to make eternal decisions instead of temporary decisions, long-lasting decisions instead of just focusing on the immediate moment. Sometimes we make decisions based on what's happening right now in the immediate moment that will have long-lasting repercussions, as opposed to focusing on the lasting life principles, making decisions on life that will last and not just responding to the immediate moment.